when you hear the word origami, you just think of paper craft for kids, right? Or just as an activity using geometrical shapes and figures, or teach patience and maybe make the kids think creatively. Origami is an ancient art of paper folding. The word combines the Japanese word ori, meaning folded, and kami, meaning paper. Origami is the ancient art of paper folding, has many applications in the modern day classroom for teaching geometry, thinking skills, fractions, problem solving, fun, and science. Applications have been explored in areas such as aerospace, biomedical devices, packaging, storage, manufacturing, robotics, mechanisms, self-folding devices, core structure, architecture, and also at NASA. Ongoing research in origami engineering is improving folding efficiency and expanding the future capabilities and usefulness of these devices. You can search on the internet the various uses and applications of origami. Today, we meet an amazing student who started origami as hobby and even as his craft at an age at 7. Now he intends to make it his profession. He is an enthusiast in origami. He is also teaching many students through his online classes and Udemy courses. In short, he is earning while learning, applying the formula learn, do, and teach. This will take him a long way in his journey and faster towards his goal. Can we all welcome Ayush Thaker? Hey Ayush, are you there?
Hi Madhu, hi.
How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Great. Thank you so much for being here, Ayush. And I'm really happy to see you here. And so I think all the participants, they would be like, who is this young guy at the age of 15 doing so many things? Isn't it? So let me tell everybody here in the room, there are free gifts. If you stay till the end, there is a free gift which you will be shared it on the chat link and you can download it. And what is the process, Ayush? Can you just tell them?
The free gift is free access to my Udemy course,
which
I will send in the chat and everybody can access it. Yeah.
Great. Thank you so much. And we have a long list of questions to ask Ayush, and I hope you can understand from his journey of growth, failures, happiness, and success. And let me tell you, while we are asking him questions, you can also write your questions in the chat box. And please wait till your questions are answered. They will be answered very soon. Hi, Ayush. Could you please introduce yourself and show us a few of your models?
Yeah, sure. So, hi everybody. My name is Ayush, and I currently study in the 10th grade. And I've been doing the art of origami for the past 9 years, and I'm planning to do something in the field of origami in my future. And I'm also a professional scale paper modeler. And scale paper modeling is a little different to origami, but similar in many ways. And I would like to show everybody some of my models. So this is my first model. It's all made only of paper, nothing else. And this is the Yamaha DSC-11 bike, which took me altogether around 6 months to actually make. So this is an exact replica of a bike, and it has all the exact parts that a real bike does have.
Wow.
Second is the T90 tank. This is the Indian Army tank, which is currently being used right now. And this is a scale paper model. Now, this is known as 3D origami, and this one model has over 250 parts. So each part has been made and actually stacked up together in order to form this crane.
Beautiful.
Thank you. Now, origami is not about just static models. We create models which can actually contract and expand, such as this.
Wow. Something like a spring, you can just take it as an action, right?
Yes, exactly.
Wow.
Now, this is an artwork which I made for an art carnival where the theme was actually gratefulness. But with origami, you can make any artwork very interesting.
Oh, wow. This is amazing.
Now, this is one of the most detailed models I have made yet, and it is the MHX rifle, also made of just paper, life size, and most people think it's a real rifle.
I know.
It's actually just paper. And this is a model which I made for animal awareness. I hope everybody can see. As you can see here, there are 20 paper animals on each side, and all of these are endangered animal species. And I folded each one of them. This project took me 55 hours. Now, of course, I can just say this is a static model, but it's not. What this model does is it can actually move. And what's very surprising about this model is I can bring both the sides together using the principles of origami.
Oh, wow.
So it actually forms a pyramid with both the animals together. And this was made purely for animal awareness and spreading awareness on these endangered species of animals. And just one more model which I would like to show you is, this is a model which I made for NASA, and I'm going to explain it later too. It's known as the NASA Starship, and this is purely a replica and a model which would actually function better than the real one. So this is a 30 square foot paper collapsed into 3 feet cube. So that's all I have to show you today. And those are some of my best models which have taken me very long to make.
Wow, this is amazing. I'm sure everybody here is impressed by your work. So would you tell us what are your aspirations?
Now, my aspirations with origami, since I started learning origami, I imagined myself making models which could actually shock people and captivate people and make them wonder, is this really paper? And my greatest ambition in the field of origami is to actually use my skills in the art to make a difference in the real world. Now, to make a difference either in the field of scientific and technical innovation, where origami has thousands of real world applications, or also make an impact in the field of education while actually helping people with mental wellness using origami, or actually helping people improve math concepts using the art of origami.
Oh, wow, excellent. Just give me a minute. Yeah. So do you know Ikigai, and how were you able to find it there?
Now, Ikigai is a wonderful Japanese concept which helps you identify what you truly wake up for every morning. And I identified origami as my ikigai because every time I actually practice it, it made me very happy. And I practice it with a lot of dedication, which I give to the art. And just imagine some of my models have taken up to months to finish. And since origami is something I love, which is an aspect of the ikigai, it is something that the world needs. And the world needs origami because of its applications in engineering, space exploration, robotics, robo origami, and so much more. And origami is also something I'm good at since I have been practicing it for 9 years. And I am paid for origami to an extent, but I hope to make that better in the future. So that's how I identified it as my ikigai.
That's so very good. Yeah. So, who is your hero, and what role did your parents or mentors play in motivating you to achieve your goals?
Okay, so my role model, someone who really inspired me to take up the art of origami, is a man named Jeremy Schaefer. He's an origami enthusiast who lives in the US, and his skills in the art and his sense of design actually, really motivated me to move forward in my career in origami. And otherwise, I was completely self-driven, and my parents actually helped me a lot, and they actually took me to the origami kaikan in Japan, where I spent time with the master of origami, and he actually taught me a few models. And when your parents are supportive, when you're trying to accomplish something, it does play a role in order to achieve
Absolutely.
anything.
Wow. And hats off to your parents to have taken you all the way to Japan, and you got your mentor also there, it seems. And not all schools prepare students for such entrepreneurship the way you have taken it as the skill into entrepreneurship also, like you are taking classes. So, but then would you still give credit for your skills and qualities to school?
Yeah, well, school did not help me directly in origami, but it does help you develop a lot of life skills which you can use in any field. When what I learned from school is actually I became more confident, and you can communicate better to people. You can put your point across, and you can get enough stage experience. And one thing great about my school was we have something called the leadership curriculum. And they actually guided us throughout on how you can set goals. And once you set goals, actually go ahead and achieve them. So one very important thing I learned is setting a SMART goal. And a SMART goal is nothing but a goal which is specific, measurable, and it's also realistic. So you can actually go ahead and try to achieve it. So our school's IC and LC curriculum actually helped me in goal setting, which of course helped me in setting goals, to make different models, take classes, and even upload my course on Udemy.
So we have a question which is directed to me. Ansh is asking a question. Can we spotlight Ansh and let him ask his question? Hello,
Yes, ma'am.
Ansh. Yes, you can
Yes,
ask the
ma'am.
question.
Yes, ma'am.
Ansh is a student of UniqEduStory, and he would like to ask you a question. Yes.
Yes, ma'am. So Ayush, your moderns are very amazing. They are like mind blowing. So my question is, how are you different from the other kids of your age?
Oh, that's a good question. Well, how do I answer that? I would say that I feel that, okay, I'm going to start by saying that, time is our greatest asset. And you have limited time in a day. You have 24 hours. Out of that, you have to sleep sometime, right? But I feel what most kids do at my age is whatever time they have where they're not studying or where they're not doing schoolwork, they spend their time, wasting time on social media or wasting time watching Netflix, and I feel that if you spend that time into learning something that you love, I feel that can really help you. And if you dedicate more time into your passions, I think you can achieve success there much faster.
So, Ansh, did you get this? We really have to use lesser time in doing things which we are not supposed to do, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Great. So, did you set goals in school to work on them?
Oh, yes. So I set a lot of SMART goals, like I explained. SMART is specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. Now, I set a goal while I was completing this model right here. I had set a goal to actually complete each. So what I do is when I'm achieving or trying to make any big project, right, I make something called a Gantt chart. And a Gantt chart helps you color code and actually decide when you'll be done with which section, which part, and everything. So using that Gantt chart, it took me around, I actually scheduled it for 3 months, but I did give up in between on this project and left it for 4 months, and then I started again. But I feel that you can really use SMART goals and actually set small goals in between in order to achieve a final goal such as this.
Okay. So, Ayush, we have a few hands raised, which I actually cannot see in my screen.
I can help. So
Please do,
Suresh,
please do.
Suresh uncle or Suresh has his hand up.
So, Suresh, could you please ask your question if you have to Ayush?
Suresh Ji Gokuldas.
Suresh, uncle.
All right. Ashna Relekar has another question.
Okay.
Ashna, are you there? Okay. I see Sonal's hand up. Sonal.
Hi, Sonal. Could you just ask your question to Ayush?
Hi, Ayush.
Hi.
Can you hear me? Ayush,
Yes,
what do
we
you
can.
see yourself in the next, what do you see, what do you plan to achieve in the next 4 years or 5 years from now?
What I plan to achieve is actually related to origami as a field. And I aim to create something or create an origami innovation in the next 4 to 5 years, which can have an impact either in the field of space exploration or actually origami robotics, where we actually can build robots which can collapse and make things more efficient for us using the art of origami. So that's my goal for the next 4 to 5 years. Yeah.
Kapita?
Thank you so much, Sonal.
Thank you, Ayush. Thank you.
Thank you.
In that case, you will need a lot of focus to achieve your goals, right? So, Ayush, did you use any focusing techniques? And how do you, or rather, how are you able to manage doing so many things together?
Yeah, so I use a focusing technique called the Pomodoro method. And you've taught that in your class, have you?
Yes, I have.
Okay. Yeah, so I use this Pomodoro method where you put in 25 minutes of concentrated work and 5 minutes of chilling time. You can do anything you want in 5 minutes, but the next 25 minutes you're going to have to put concentrated, focused work. So this actually helps with my academics. It helps with origami. It helps with reading things and basically reading and doing anything to gain knowledge. It really does help. So I use that method a lot. Yeah,
that's great. So in your hobby, or like this is going to become your business idea also. So what is so unique about this hobby? What is so unique?
So most people just know origami as an art, which caters to aesthetics. But honestly, origami has many real-world applications, and that's what makes it very unique. For example, the NASA star shade, and if you want, you can show the slide, and
Yeah, there
I
is a
can explain
slide.
you the slide.
We will just show it. Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, the other one.
Okay, so I hope everybody can see the slide.
The above,
Can you,
the fifth one.
yeah, the one above, the one above.
Yeah.
Now, if you can see the image at the middle bottom of the right, that image, you can see this gigantic figure which looks like a sun, which is in front of a spaceship. Now, what that is that's called the NASA Starshade, where it's a piece of equipment that NASA designed in order to help astronomers and astronauts take pictures of exoplanets. Now, why do we want to take pictures of stars and exoplanets? Is because we want to know, does life really exist on them? And of course, it's going to help with scientific development. Now, how has origami helped? The NASA Starship is so huge that it cannot be fit into a spaceship physically. So origami has helped create patterns which can actually fold this huge sun-shaped NASA star shape and actually collapse it into something small and compact, so that it can actually fit inside a spaceship. And now if you look on the slide on the left, you can see that there's a policeman holding a shield. Now
Yes.
that shield is, so it's been made based on patterns of origami. And I'm sure you can see the pattern which exists there. And it's actually helping protect the policeman. So it's an origami pattern and it's actually helping save his life, where the shield can be contracted and actually opened. And again, there's the indigestible origami robot. Now, in the United States, there were cases of people swallowing batteries. And in order to come up with a solution, MIT designed this indigestible robot, which works on the patterns of origami. It folds, you actually swallow it, and it navigates its way through your body, collects the battery, and comes out. So that's what makes origami unique. Its abilities to actually help in engineering and scientific innovation.
This is so amazing. And I think you have included all of this in the Udemy course, right? So people can actually get access to this course, and since people who are attending it, we will be giving them as a free gift, and they can actually learn from this course a lot, I think. Thank you so much, Ayush, for giving this as a gift. Thank you so much.
That's good. That's great. Thank you.
So while you are trying to do so many things all together and working hard, so how do you take care of your health, body and mind? Even everything gets exhausted. So how do you take care of it?
So how do I take care of my health and body and mind is I try to first of all, exercise every day and limit whatever junk food there is. But to actually stay healthy mentally, I use origami to do that. So once you find a passion or something which you like doing, and if it really helps you de-stress, then you can really use that to stay mentally healthy.
Actually. So when you have a passion to do something and it is coming right from inside, so you are absolutely keeping your mind so, away from that stress which is around. Amazing. Brilliant. So how disciplined are you about your time and the work and your study and health routines?
So how I manage my studying, I of course set different times for studies and then for practicing origami. And I practice origami almost every day. And I came across this one quote which said, only the disciplined ones are free in life. And if you're ill-disciplined, you're nothing but a slave to your emotions and moods and passions. So I feel that you should not waste your time, and you should try to be as disciplined as you can. And of course, health is very important, especially when you're doing anything. And I came across another quote where this man once said, now imagine God gives you a number, right, which represents your life, right? And when he gives you this number, the number one, so let's say the number is 1,000. Now, number one represents your health, and all the zeros you add to it represent everything else you want. Now, let's say 10 is a car and 10 is, let's say, a healthy family. But if God ever removes that number one, then what are you left with, right? You're left with nothing.
So sweet. That means you need to take care of your health. You should not be wasting time. And then you keep working towards your goals and ambitions. And then of all, be motivated. And this will drive you to succeed in life. True? Great.
Yeah, exactly.
So we have some questions coming up and we will soon answer them and ask them to ask you the question maybe. Let me just take one question. Whom would you be grateful and how does gratitude impact us?
I feel that if you're grateful for whatever you have, right, then you're genuinely happy in life. If you're actually grateful. And I feel that when you're grateful, you actually look forward to things, and thinking positive can really help in that manner. And who am I grateful for? I'm grateful for, all my parents, my friends, my family, and everybody who's showing me support throughout my origami journey. I was very grateful for that.
Okay, so you can just name your parents and your sister. Do you have a sister or any other person, or your teachers? Whom do you name them as?
Well, I have a teacher a role model or a mentor, Jeremy Schaefer, who's actually guided me for origami. I've reached out to him. He's actually helped me develop some patterns and all of that. So I'm really grateful for that, and that really helped me in my origami journey. And of course, parents, family, friends who have shown me support, which also motivates you to achieve something in an art.
Okay.
Especially since origami is a dying art, and even though it has so many applications.
No, it is not going to be a dying art anymore, because you are there taking it forward 100%. And of course, there are so many other enthusiasts. So we have a question from Dhaval Munani, who wishes to ask a question. Could you directly ask Dhaval ji? Hi, Dhaval.
See, this is that boy, Thakur, my friend's son.
Okay. So we can come back to him. So there are more questions.
Ashna, do you had your hand up? Do you have a question? Ashna, are you there?
Hello, ma'am.
Yes,
Yes,
Ashna.
Hello, ma'am. I have 2 questions.
Okay. Please ask.
Hello, everybody. How did you imagine all the crafts and origamis you did?
Okay.
So can you repeat that question? How do I imagine?
So she's asking, how did you imagine that craft and how could you make those crafts?
Oh, okay, like that. So let me just show you an example. For example, this model here, I can just talk about the process which I went. So when I design or make any craft, right, I first think about the purpose and why I'm actually making it and what is it for. So this one, for example, was for animal awareness. So I decided, okay, now let me start making animals. So I actually made all these cubes at the end. I folded 40 animals first. And of course, this was done I used books and I used YouTube and I used the internet, and I created some patterns and some animals by myself. And after that, I visualized this box design, and I took inspiration from another artist. His name is Jake, and he actually has created many designs such as similar to these. And I visualized the animals on this design, and I went about creating the design. And actually, then I thought, why not make one side for marine animals and one side for terrestrial animals. So a lot of planning goes into making these. And of course, for origami, you do require some visualization skills and of course, math skills, which are quite important, while making these boxes, because this model can actually work without any tape or without any glue. So there's actually no tape or glue used in this. Hence, it can actually transform. So that's how I actually go ahead, visualize, and create the model.
Ashna, what is your second question? Hi,
What
Ashna.
do you consider when you call someone smart?
What do I consider? Okay. So that I honestly think that smart is it's not defined by your grades or anything. I feel that when you look at someone's values, beliefs, or principles, you can identify them as smart. So grades and achievement levels don't have much to do with it. Of course, they can help, but I feel it's defined by your morals and values. Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope that answers your question.
Thank you, Ashna, for asking a wonderful question. Yutika has another question. How do you manage? Yutika, can you ask the question yourself?
Yeah, how do you manage your stress and anger?
So Yutika is a very young child at UniqEduStory, and she's asking you, how do you manage your stress and anger?
Okay, hi Yutika. So when you talk about stress, right, it plays such a large role in our lives, and your stress can really affect your emotions. So you need to figure out ways that you can deal with the stress, whether it's just coming from school or wherever. And the way I deal with stress is finding my passion and actually doing it, which helps me forget about everything. And actually, doing origami is a way for me to release stress. And how do you control, how do you handle stress and anger? You need to understand how does your anger affect, how do your emotions impact people? And based on that, you need to try and control and regulate them. But yeah, stress managing is very, very important.
Thank you so much for answering. And this is a good takeaway, yes. So Ayush, before we ask anybody else, we have another question. That is, how do you fight the 8 demons in life? You've heard of these, no? Jealousy, ego, infatuation, greed, anger, desire, arrogance, and attachment. These are the 8 demons in life which you must have heard of. The Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Moha. In Hindi, we have this entire set of cells. In fact, there is a Doha also. But then you can just little by little tell us how you could fight them off.
Okay, so I hadn't heard of the 8 demons together, but now that you're asking me individually, I can definitely answer that. I feel that when we talk about the first one, what was the first one that you said? Jealousy. So I feel that it's quite natural and it can happen to many people, right? Especially when you come to schools and exams and everything. But how do I deal with that? Is I don't really compare myself to anybody. I try to compare myself to myself and say that I need to be better than how I was yesterday, and try to make sure that I'm constantly improving and beating myself rather than comparing to anybody.
Oh, and how do you handle ego? It is bound to come at one stage, but then you need to know right from now.
Yeah, so I feel that there's a thin line between overconfidence and ego. And I feel that it's very important that everybody stays humble and don't let any form of success get into your head. So I've learned to stay grounded and humble from my parents and my family who have taught me this. But when people are become when I'm not specifying, but when some people do become very successful, it ego tends to take place, and I feel that you should try to control it by staying humble.
Great. And what about infatuation?
Infatuation, I feel that it's very important that you stay practical, and you don't get emotionally attached to any materialistic things too, such as a house or a laptop. Because a materialistic thing is it's just a piece of it's just a material. There's nothing to it. So I feel that don't get emotionally attached to anything. That can really help. Yeah.
And what about greed?
When we talk about greed, right, it normally comes with money, and when you make money, you tend to always want more, and then slowly, I think people's purpose in life becomes just to mint money, and I feel that money is necessary, but it doesn't directly make you happy. Like, I want to have money and I want to experience different things and live well, and but I would like to share with you this one experiment that was conducted where by a group of researchers at Cambridge, where they actually they gave their candidates they gave each of them a materialistic thing and measured their dopamine levels. And they noticed that after a week of getting the materialistic thing, their dopamine levels actually were back down to normal. So I feel that, so greed, you should not get too greedy for any materialistic thing.
Anger, of course, you have defined earlier, but then you can still talk about anger, right? In this list. Yes.
Yeah. So how do I deal with anger if I ever get angry? You take a deep breath and you think about your actions and basically what repercussions they can have, and you just have to accept things and move on. That's what I think of anger.
Absolutely. And there comes desire too.
Oh, desire. I can give you an example which can help me explain it. So I came across this one article where they said, if you want to get on a plane or if you want to go to a movie, then it's necessary to buy a ticket. But this ticket, right, which you actually buy, has to be given at the door. But if you hold on to that ticket, how are you going to go into the theater, right? So basically what it tries to tell you is you cannot hold on to your desires. You need to submit to your desires and actually not hold on to them. So as you keep submitting them, fewer desires actually come up.
So we have two more left, arrogance and attachment.
Arrogance is, it's not a good thing, and it can happen to people who have achieved a lot. But how do you deal with arrogance is you have to remind yourself who you were when you started. And that can really help you, remind yourself who you were and get you back to your senses.
Absolutely. And what about attachment?
Well, attachment has, I feel that self-control is very important. Now, you can, of course, relate attachment to any addiction, right? 90% of teenagers are addicted to social media. And I feel that if you're trying to achieve your dreams, attachments and addictions, they become a big distraction to you. And this is something that we have to learn to deal with by, I feel, constantly reminding yourself of what you're trying to achieve. And then once you're motivated, your addiction or your attachment should really subside.
Thank you so much, Ayush. You have so amazingly and so vividly described the ways to fight away these demons. Thank you so much. So we have this direct message from Jayant Saini. Jayant Saini, please could you ask your question here? Jayant Saini. Hi, Jayant.
Can you hear me? Hi.
Yes, yes.
So I've heard that Ayush also teaches origami to various students. So when were you confident about being able to teach origami to others? Because it's a big difference doing origami yourself and being able to spread that knowledge and love to others around you?
Okay, so thank you for that question. I feel that so this is what Albert Einstein said, that if you can't explain it to a 6-year-old, then you can't teach it. And that's something I've used in order to address your question. Used to teach people origami. Once you really understand the concept and you can break it down, break something difficult down into something very easy or simple, which anybody can understand, then I feel you can teach it to people. And that's what I did in my Udemy course. So my Udemy course has actually very complex origami concepts, which are broken down into simple parts, step by step. So you can actually learn slowly but confidently.
Oh, great. That's great. So of all that you've learned in school, what do you think will be most useful as qualities applicable in your journey ahead?
So when you're going through any journey, you aim to, I think, solve a problem, right? And school really taught me how to do that. My school has a leadership curriculum, like I mentioned before, and we learned all about this process called the design thinking process, which I'm sure many people have heard of, which you can use to solve any problem in the world. So you have 5 stages. You have the empathize stage, where you put yourself in other people's shoes and find out, you experience what they're actually feeling. Then you have step 2, which is define your problem. Now you define your problem in a clear problem statement. And step 3 is ideate, where you think of different solutions to the problems that people are facing. And the 4th stage is prototype, where you create a solution. And the 5th stage is test, where you go ahead and you actually test out these solutions.
Okay. So in short, you can also see that there are there are very many important skills for the kids to learn, right? They need to focus, they need to have self-control, they need to have that perspective of, learning to take that view of different people, the perspectives of different people, and also they need to learn the skill to communicate well. I can see your communication amazing, and making connections or critical thinking, taking on challenges, and such self-directed and engaged learning is so important. So while we are still at school, we need to learn all these important skills. True. So what would you do to, or rather, what would you want to improve about yourself?
One major thing that I can improve upon myself is that I get distracted very easily. It's something which can happen to many people, and it's very common too. You're trying to focus, you're trying to do something, but every 5 minutes you're getting distracted. The Pomodoro method does help a lot, but of course it can't help every day, and it's a good method, but it doesn't help you all the time. So I feel that trying to focus better is something that I can really work on, and basically focus, of course, is very important. So I feel that's a major thing I have to improve upon.
So initially, when you introduced yourself, you said you were a field founder, and could you just little elaborate on that, and also simultaneously share your sweet and sour moments, or maybe some victory or bitter moments, the experiences you had in your journey till now?
Okay. Yeah. So like I mentioned in the beginning, I take pride in being a failed founder, because when you're a failed founder, you have a lot of learnings which you can implement later. So I had tried to start a t-shirt business called Camiso. So I was earning little money through my origami classes, which I was conducting. And I decided, okay, let me try to, because I love design and I love, I love graphic design too. So I thought, why not design t-shirts and try to sell them maybe in the United States, where I can make a higher profit. But after a lot of struggles, after 7 months of working on it, the business didn't really work out. But some of my greatest learnings were from there. And I feel that, when you fail, it's nothing but a stepping stone to success the next time. So Mark Zuckerberg also said that, don't even try escaping failure and don't try avoiding mistakes, because you just need to learn from them and try not to repeat the same mistakes again. And, in origami too, I have failed hundreds of different models. And for example, the bike, like I mentioned, I was trying to complete it within 3 months, but in the end, I ended up taking 6 months for it because I got frustrated. I gave up in between, but I came back to it. So I feel that, when you fail hundreds of models, you gain a little more experience, and it really motivates you to actually complete the next model. And this really helped me in origami. And even in my Udemy course, right, I spent hours and days learning and reading Udemy's articles, because you have to be very careful with all the factors which affect your videos, like voice quality, your background noise, and everything. So I put a lot of effort into that, and I feel one of my greatest achievements in origami is the Udemy course, because Udemy is not an easy platform to get onto. They have a very rigorous reviewing process where they take hours and review. These experts actually review your course. They make sure that your content is great and that their users can have the best experience possible. So after a lot of effort into Udemy, planning it, and this was a part of my school personal project, which is something our board has, our curriculum. So I feel that is one of my greatest achievements in origami itself, getting that course uploaded on the platform.
Absolutely. I was hooked when I heard about your Udemy course. That is the reason I just actually tried to get in touch with you. How do you manage? I think there is a question from Ananya. Ananya, can you ask a question yourself? Hi, Ananya Karnani. Hello, Ananya.
I wanted to ask, how do you manage your savings? How do you earn your savings? How do you earn the money to basically prepare everything, and how do you manage them? That's my question.
Okay, so I did make some money from Udemy and my origami classes, which I still do. And I'm 16, right? And I try to manage it well in order to actually make more money. But the things I use, and how do you learn to manage your earnings? I feel that books are a very good resource. Books such as Rich Dad, Poor Dad, where we talk about something called assets, and they talk about assets and liabilities. And an asset is anything which helps you generate more money, and a liability takes away money from you. For example, an asset is stocks or bonds, and whereas a liability is a car. That's just an example. But I manage my earnings by carefully investing, and I try to invest in a little more high risk things, because I feel that when you take a little more risk, and if you, of course, calculate a risk, it can make you a little more money in the future. But one more important thing is you should not waste money, and don't buy things to impress people. I feel that many people throw money on luxury brands in order to impress others, which I feel is a complete waste of money. And, for example, when I made, my first 10,000 rupees from origami, I blew it all up on one pair of AirPods or, earphones. And I feel that was a big mistake, because if I invested that money at that time into just Sensex, it would have tripled by now. So I feel that you have to be very careful. I hope that answers your question, Ananya.
Yes, thank you so much for answering that. And how do you stay motivated throughout the journey? Even when you're down, when you are just, in your low, how do you stay motivated?
Yeah, so in any journey you go through, there are times that you feel demotivated, especially I did during origami. It can get a little frustrating when you have so much work to complete. But what I do is I always remind myself why I started it and what was the purpose. And once you do that, you can immediately get your motivation back. So that's just what I use to stay motivated.
So I heard a lot of quotes from you. So which quote do you resonate with most?
Well, one quote I resonate with most. I mean, it's just a statement. It's not exactly a quote, but I feel that everything has a hidden cost, right? Now, to elaborate on that, when I say everything has a hidden cost, well, if you go to McDonald's and you eat a 2,000 calorie meal with all junk food, it may not cost you that much money, but it's going to cost you your health. And of course, the health is a hidden cost. Now, when you watch a lot of Netflix or Prime, or on Amazon Prime, it's not going to cost you much money, but it's going to cost you time. So I feel that everything does have a hidden cost.
Amazing. So we have another question which has come from Emmy, and I wonder if Emmy is there. She has written, is Emmy around? Hi, is Emmy around? She has written a question to me. What would be your advice to young kids who are receiving pocket money?
Oh, pocket money. Okay. I would really, so when you have pocket money, right? Let's say you get an amount of, let's say $100. Now, what would I recommend you do with that? Now, I read a lot about stocks, and I'm into blockchain development, cryptocurrencies. I do a lot of research, right? And what I feel is when you have $100 and you're a kid and you're young, you should not invest that in crypto. You should not invest that in stocks. Don't invest it anywhere, but invest it in yourself. So with that money, I would say buy books, buy courses, and try to maximize your ability to gain knowledge. And that's really going to help you in the future.
Beautiful. And now the prime question here is, why is the lion the king of the jungle? I heard you saying that. So you can answer and tell everybody about it.
Okay, so I think you had added this when you were when we had met last. You had added it to one of the flyers, yeah?
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
So I came across this quote by a famous basketball player, Kobe Bryant, and he said, "What makes the lion the king of the jungle? What makes you great in any field, whether it's sports, whether it's any art?" I feel that when we look at the lion, right, in the jungle, he's not the fastest animal because that's the cheetah, and he's definitely not the biggest animal because that's the elephant, and the lion is also not the smartest. So the lion he's not the biggest, he's not the biggest, and he's not the fastest or he's not the smartest, but what makes him the king of the jungle is his mentality. It's his mindset, it's his drive, and it's his hunger, which actually helps him become the king.
Amazing answer. Amazing. And so we have not many questions. We are coming to the end of this thing. So this interview. So could you just give the 3 top learnings that you can share and motivate the young kids?
So from my journey in origami, there are 3 important learnings. The first one is that to remember one thing. It takes 6 months to build a Rolls Royce, and it just takes 13 hours to build a Toyota. So in order to build great things, it really takes a lot of time and patience. And it's very important to be patient, and because these great things take time to build. And the second learning I can mention it in the form of a quote is, how big would you dream if you knew you couldn't fail? So try to keep your dreams big and take one step in the right direction, and you're closer to achieving your goals or your dreams. And one more learning from origami is that time is definitely your greatest asset. And I've emphasized this many times in the interview too. So Lamborghini was once asked, right, why don't you have commercials on TV? And their answer was that our customers don't just sit around watching TV. Our customers are actually doing something. So time is your greatest asset, and we should not waste our time.
Amazing. Such a big learning. So here we have Yutika's mom asking a question. Yes, Archana, you could ask your question here.
Hi, I just wanted to know that
Hi.
you want to go in this business and you make your future in this. So did you plan something as a marketing strategy, or what market is there in this for this origami, and how different thing you can do in future? Because somewhere or other in life you should become a businessman, you should earn, you should have profit. So did you have any plan that yeah, this is the thing I'll do so that this becomes a future for me and I'll earn from this? And see, definitely you need to earn. It's not all being practical. I'm just telling you, you need to earn from whatever you are. You are grateful and you are fortunate that you have a chance of earning from your thing what you love, you enjoy. So, is there any marketing thing you have research you have done about it?
A similar question to Archana's was from Dhaval Monani. He is asking, Ayush, do you plan to pursue engineering to use your interest in origami? So Ayush, you could just tell us what you plan to do ahead.
Yeah, sure. So when we talk about origami, there are, I would say, I have identified 3 ways you can earn from it. Now, number one is education-wise, teaching, and that may not be as big as, it may not be very beneficial for earning. But the second field is decoration, where weddings and events really want a lot of origami cranes and different models for decoration. Now, again, that's not a very big market, but the biggest market, and a market which is constantly arising, is basically people who have origami and who are engineers, basically. So answering to Mr. Dhaval's question, yes, I'm planning to pursue some field of engineering. And the reason being, MIT, Massachusetts Institute of Technology, they have an entire degree for robo origami, which is something I plan to pursue. And NASA offers jobs to people who have expertise in origami, such as a physicist named Robert Lang. NASA is actually, there are hundreds of origamists in NASA, because not only the Starship, but a lot of their rovers and models which can contract and expand are being made using inspiration from origami. So the market for origami is constantly developing. Maybe not really in the teaching field or in the education field or even in decorations, but when we talk about scientific and technical innovation, that's where origami is a huge market right now, and that's what I plan to pursue in the future.
Beautiful. Wish you all the best for your future. And we have the last rapid 5 questions here, Ayush. Your favorite book?
Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Yeah, one childish thing you still enjoy? Of course, you are a child.
Throwing water balloons on people.
Okay. And are you a thinker or a doer?
I'm a mix of that. I think and do together. I would not say I'm a thinker or a doer.
What type of movies do you like?
Comedy, and because it helps me laugh and de-stress. Yeah.
Are you the fun or the no nonsense allowed type of a guy?
Well, I think I'm fun, or at least I hope I'm a fun guy. But I'm happy-go-lucky. I'm definitely not a no nonsense allowed guy.
Okay, thank you so much, Ayush. It was really amazing conversation and a lot of learning for everyone. Thank you so much. So you could
You're
just
welcome. It's a pleasure being here.
um, I would
For the
just
free gift.
request to put that link in the chat box for people to, before they log out, they just could enroll their themselves. And thank you all for attending this class. This
So, Madhu, before
interview.
we end it, I
Yes.
just wanted to ask you a question. What was the idea of UniqEduStory taking interviews of people who are, going through or beginning a journey in either like in any field, let's say startups or even fields like art fields like origami?
So it was when I saw your my friend Jaisal. She introduced that my nephew is doing this Udemy course, and in UniqEduStory, I was actually making the kids, do something. At the end of learning how to upload videos or make videos in the first place, from today's kids are really very confident. So right now they are overwhelmed or more distracted with managing time, as you all said, that it keeps happening in spite of being so organized yourself. So here at UniqEduStory, which is like a class for online class for holistic development for children, so here we make them aware of setting up a mind map for growth and setting up goals or learning to set goals and for the paths they wish to tread later on, and learn ways to overcome hurdles in life. And we just teach them many techniques and power tools to do so. Anger or any other emotions, how to handle those emotions. So when I heard those inspirational stories about you and few more students who are doing at such young age, so I thought of actually why not inspire my kids at UniqEduStory, how you all are able to achieve all at such a young age. So you all are the biggest inspiration actually for the little kids. So that was the reason I thought of taking these interviews and maybe encourage these kids to become entrepreneurs in some while after having acquired all those skills in life, the skills that they need when they grow up as entrepreneurs, and then make use of them at different times. So this was maybe you would be the role model of a few of them here, and maybe many more when they hear from you. So this is the only reason I started with these interviews along with UniqEduStory.
Oh wow, that's great. That's great. It was a pleasure being here.
Yeah, thank you so much. And everybody here, thank you so much for being here and inspiring Ayush and